guys, so I'm continuing with the BTS member analysis so I can get to the finale very soon. I have been putting this off a lot because of my health. I'm not going to get into a lot of that. These are kind of rushed, but I'm going to go on ahead and get into it. So next member is BTS's Jungkook, or as we know, Jungkook. So a lot of times people will say that he is not a very humble person in the group. Now granted, he did used to say in interviews that he was a very selfish and greedy person, but I think over the years that he has grown up, he has gotten to be a lot more humble and is not as selfish and needy as before. They're not very boastful. Yeah, he's not a very boastful person. He rarely talks about how awesome he is at his job. He is very grateful to a lot of things in his life. He does not really belittle others that much. He used to, and all joking fun, but I think he learned over the years that that is a very hurtful thing. He's not a very proud person. He's not very materialistic either as well. It's just a lot of the group members are ambassadors for certain companies and clothing designs, so there's that. They're not arrogant, they are not egotistical, and they'll not get defensive. Now, he's not very defensive. He practically doesn't even care what people say about him anymore. See, and if people don't know what this word means, insolence is a rude and disrespectful act. It's like how teenagers behave in rebellion against their parents a lot of times. It's out of spite. Now, like I said, he used to be a greedy person. Nothing wrong with that. Especially when you grow up in a poor small town and you don't have much, you can be a little greedy at times. But he's not very overly self-centered like he used to be when he was young. He is more on the generous side, as we've seen, especially when he would surprise certain members with gifts, food, and he thanks them for things that they do for him instead of just taking it like he deserves it. Now, when he was younger, he was spoiled because he was not raised by parents. Jin and the rest of the members had to raise him. And as he said before, he is like a manifestation of all of their personalities in one. So there can be good and bad traits in there that he has learned over the years, but he is a lot more modest now, especially after his youth has gone away and he's now a grown man. He's more modest about things than he used to be. And I'm sure if you are a parent or if you have little siblings that used to be children or are children now, I'm sure you know a child that is terribly spoiled versus a very humble person. Now, I think everybody needs to read this right here, more likely, because I don't think a lot of people know the difference between a fake person and a very humble and modest person. And not for Jungkook's sake, but I'm saying for anybody else who says, well, this person is humble, this person's humble, but yet they're the least humble person ever. He's never been a arrogant person, at least that I have known of. But I do say he does have confidence in his abilities, and doesn't really talk about it as much. It's like he just goes in and performs, and that's that. It's not that he brags about it, because I do know a lot of the Korean rappers that used to go against BTS were more of the arrogant types. And like I said, read these side things. When I do put these in the descriptions, please read those. Otherwise, I don't think you would know the difference between any person's approach to life, and then I fear for you. Like I said, he is a confident man. He's not overly confident. but they know when to apologize when they're wrong. They speak the truth and don't go back on their word. He is assertive and actively goes after what he wants in life. He knows how to be a gentleman and how to treat a woman, especially when they do go to interviews. He takes responsibility for his actions. He takes the initiative to ask. He does take the initiative about things, especially when it comes a time when somebody is abusing their power or their voice. He does not go for that as well. He leads with charisma. Yeah, he can, especially when he is like the lead in a dance. And he does stand for his values. He does smile often. He's very open-minded about things. He has a great sense of humor. He does protect those closest to him. He is not very openly vocal about protecting others, but his actions do speak more in volumes than a voice does. So his birthday is September 1st, the survivor. Dark side, they are overworked and overly serious. He is overachiever, but that is for his own mentality and his confidence. If he doesn't feel he hasn't overworked himself, he doesn't feel that he's accomplished anything. They are courageous, resilient, and hardworking. Yes, he's very hardworking, but he does do a little too much. I mean, he does have a practical approach to life. He's not very... He's not the type of person that goes out of his way to buy overly expensive things and flaunts it. He's not a very chic person or a trendy person. He likes to dress very comfortable. And I think that's to his own values. He wants to be a normal person, so he's not going to dress like a guy who is set up for royalty in a way. So his Western astrology is Virgo, as we already know. If you are into astrology, you would know. He is sympathetic, practical, natural, methodical, quick-witted. He's very smart, and he is loyal. But he can be introverted, judgmental, inflexible, moody, blunt. He's very stressed, and sometimes he can be a know-it-all, but I think it's more so in a joking way, because we do know that the leader of BTS likes to act like he knows everything, and then Jungkook tends to knock him down a peg when he knows more than he does. So his Celtic Druid tree zodiac is Hazel, otherwise the Knower. They're organized, intelligent, and very academic and smart. Yeah, he is, from what I've heard and read, that some of the other members will say that he is a person who likes to learn a lot. He likes to go about his day learning something new. He's very hungry for knowledge, whether that be very beneficial to him or just a know in general. So his astrological birth chart, so his sun is in Virgo, are often motivated by an urge to find practical outlets for skills, talents, and abilities, with an emphasis on being useful. Yes, he does like to be useful. He doesn't like to be the center of attention. He does like to put effort into what he does. So it's not that he's just a sideline person who's not in use or does not improve the song or the dance that they're doing. So his moon is in Leo. Though Leo signs are known for their strength and independence, their passion is like can get the best of them. With the moon in Leo, their desires hold power over their thinking. Yes, he does have a strong desire for goals that he does put to his mind and are the main focus. He has mentioned that in lives or interviews, especially when the interviews actually are different questions than the same old stuff they're always asked. So his Mercury is in Virgo. Your mind is your greatest asset, and you tend to look at the world more realistically than most. yeah, he does look at the world at a very different angle from some of the other group members, but I think that is the good point. When it comes to someone in the group having an opinion, he does have a different view on it. So his Venus is in Libra. They want to share their world with one another and create a long-standing relationship that lasts through the test of time. Yeah, he does want to look for somebody who is his person he can share anything with. Now, I'm sure he is not looking for anybody right now. He's way too busy, but eventually I'm sure that will be part of the goal as well. At least right now he's stable financially. So his Mars is in Scorpio. Mars in Scorpio gives us the power to unleash our drive and ambition. He does have a lot of drive, and he can release it at a steady pace, but not be too overwhelming to the point where it seems like it's directly in your face, like in an arrogant way. So his Jupiter is in Aquarius. You will do things your own way. Yes, we already knew that. Jungkook tends to go against the flow a lot of times, especially with a lot of things the members do. He has it very differently, and they do admire him for having a different approach to things. Now, he may not be completely outside of the box, but it's definitely different from what the other group members would have thought of. His Uranus is in Aquarius as well. The rebellious planet Uranus through Aquarius is profoundly impactful. It's about the birth of new ways of communicating, networking, and integrating with society. Now, he's not the trendiest person, but he does know how to work his way around society, especially as a famous person, even though he's not the most outgoing of the group. So his Neptune is in Capricorn. People like that are mysterious, like the ruling planet. They tend to be compassionate and idealistic. The majority of people with this placement have a sincere interest in philosophies and religion. Like I said, I'm not really sure about all of that, but I do remember it being mentioned that he did go to an all-boys Christian school, and that may have shaped his religious beliefs today. But since that's not the main focus of the group, I'm sure that's probably a reason why he doesn't say what his religious beliefs are, because I'm sure his fans would judge him either way. His Saturn is in Aries, being disciplined about your body, your action, and your leadership. He is very disciplined and is very calm, and he used to be, I guess, hot-headed in a way, but he has mellowed out over the years now that he has matured and has gained some modesty about how he wants to handle his celebrity life. And Pluto and Sagittarius, you are likely interested in philosophy and love talking about how shifts in our beliefs can make the world a better place. Yeah, I'm sure that can be part of it, the humanitarian ways, especially when they are some of the most giving people. They do donate a lot to charities and institutions that do need it, especially during COVID. So I'm glad they do make use of that way of thinking and their money to that advantage for people who are in need. So his Chinese zodiac is an ox, the yin fire ox to be precise. Usually are very smart, kind-hearted, diligent, honest, and practical. And they have a strong sense of responsibility and are very hardworking. Yes, that definitely is something that he does have. They're very sociable, and they will not face any financial worries because they do have that determination to be financially stable. And he's very determined and very solid in his goals and his ways. So his Egyptian zodiac is in the Nile as well. The Egyptian zodiacs don't really go as far as the actual astrological zodiacs. Just there's not like 12 of them. There may be 2 per person, I guess. The negative traits being they can act hastily and are not feeling at ease, and can have unexpected emotional outbursts. And they do have an obsession to details, and can have a very nervous energy. And they can be moody, but the thing is a lot of times it does not shape a person, because there's more positive traits to the Nile than there are the negatives. In Egyptian zodiac, the Nile represented a beginning to a prosperous and fruitful life, and as we've seen before, anybody with his zodiac set up would not be struggling in that department because of how stable and creative, but how determined they are to get their goal and achieve it in the fastest, but the quickest and safest way possible. So his Hindu zodiac is Kanya Rashi, which is the Hindu zodiac for Virgo. They're thoughtful, they're efficient, intelligent, steady, refined, wise, tolerant, but they can have uneven moods. They can be impatient, stubborn, irrational, impulsive, sometimes stern, blunt, and in other cases flighty. I'm sure we've seen some of those where he can be a little stern and blunt with things he says. But a lot of times the other members don't take it to heart, because they did know that he had a very moody side, especially when he hit his teenage years. So his Native American zodiac is the bear. Bear people think deeply about life and observe it with equal care. They're practical. Bears love with a powerful heart and work hard to please the people that they care about. On this turn of the medicine wheel, Bear's lesson is to be less critical of self and others. Now, he's not very self-critical, but I can tell that when somebody has underhandedly wronged one of his members, you will see the look of him undermining and calculating them, because they have wronged someone he cares for, so he will be judging them in the deepest way possible, but with the most silent, hateful stare. So his MBTI, he did change it twice. Now, the first one he took was ISFP, and he's now an INTP, and there is a stark difference with the SF and the NT. Unhealthy ISFPs are crybabies, self-centered, oblivious, explosive, highly emotional, dramatic, and critical. Now, he could be explosive. He was highly emotional when he was an ISFP, more likely, especially when he was a teenager. But he was quirky, hardworking, and very dedicated. But he was self-aware about his faults, so he usually would try not to overwhelm his members with his issues a lot, especially when he was younger. But now he's an INTP. Unhealthy INTPs are know-it-alls. They're mean, self-hating, critical, highly emotional, explosive, and oblivious. See, and it's kind of interesting that the unhealthy traits are very similar to the unhealthy traits of an ISFP, so it's like a fine line between those. Healthy INTPs are thoughtful, kind, altruistic, coolly confident, creative, and hardworking. And he is coolly confident in things that he does, but he's not very arrogant and doesn't brag about it, but he is very hardworking and creative about his ways. So, Jungkook's face analysis, as before I have said, confidence is about the wideness of the face. Now, Jungkook's facial proportions indicate high confidence, which is very surprising. but his face is not as wide as RM's. RM has a very wide face, but Jungkook does have a rounder face. But he does have more of a triangle shape to it, which means it is more on the narrow side, but it can be sort of in the middle depending on the shape and distance between the sides of his face. He is confident, but the thing is, he does not jump to conclusions very quickly on decision making. He does take his time. He's very methodical about his decisions. So friendliness, a person's friendliness is indicated by the distance between the top of the eye and the brow. Now, granted, Jungkook is a mix of the two. And he is introverted, and it's no surprise that he does have higher brows than RM. But the thing is, I don't think that the brow distance determines friendliness. More so, it does indicate how outgoing you are. It can be a negative or a positive outgoing, but he's not very outgoing. He likes to gauge whoever he's around before he gets comfortable with them, before he can actually try and be confident and friendly. And I'm sure he has mentioned before that he does need his personal space from the other members. That's why he actually doesn't text them back. So tolerance, you have wider set eyes. Now, no, his eyes are not completely wide set like RM's, but they are sort of in the middle, which means that he is tolerant, but has a fine line of intolerance, especially when it comes to maybe somebody's stupidity or the fact that they are overbearing on him and his goals. Okay, so the humor about the filtrums, which is this part right here. So he is more comical, as we can see. He is very funny and does have some real good qualities about how funny he is. He can have a dry sense of humor, but his filtrum is a lot longer than RM's, because RM is not a funny, humorous person. He's way too serious compared to the rest of the members. If one of the members tries to joke around, he usually death glares them. So that should prove suffice. Generosity. Now, the thickness of the bottom or top lip is not the case for generosity or the personality that we're speaking of. But Jungkook's upper lip is on the thinner side. But actually, it's not about the thinness of the upper lip. It's about the complete mouth is shaped. And he does have heavy bottom lips, which is the thing is with the thin top lip, he is more on the introverted side and does not speak a lot of his emotions as well. Worldview. People with thin eyelid folds or no eyelid folds are categorized as decisive and action-driven. Completely true. There is more to the analysis. Jungkook's eyes are on the double-lidded side versus Jimin having monolids. And yes, you see the crease? Yes, that is part of a double lid. It exists, though he's not completely monolided. So furthermore, on his facial analysis, yes, I did do several graphs here and there. So he does have rounded eyes. Those who have rounded eyes are typically more creative. Yeah, he is a very creative person. As we've seen, he is a strong artist, whether that be photography, video making, painting, drawing. He's very creative in his ability to put emotions and thoughts onto paper or on a piece of artwork. He has mid to wide set eyes. They're a bit close set eyes. Those who exhibit wider eyes usually are more flexible and impulsive. Now it's not completely blue eyes that are close set. So depends on happiness and unknown and exploration of life. Yeah, he can. Especially on his own, he can. Now, he does have brown eyes. People with brown eyes are said to be independent, determined, and self-confident. Like I said, I don't really like to put a lot of stock into people's eye colors, especially with a race that definitely has mostly brown eyes, because people in Korea are very stark different from each other, even though they have the same colored eyes, which is why you do a lot of this that I'm doing. So he does have upturned eyes, as you can see. So you usually draw a line from the inner part of your eye across, and if the edge of your eye goes above the line, they are upturned. Those upturned eyes are ambitious, motivated, and are considered by most around them to be extroverted. Now, he can be extroverted, but to a certain extent, and if he chooses to. He can be omniverted, which means that he could be introverted and extroverted in the same situation, depending on who he's with. He has average to big eyes, are indication of how you view the world and how you react towards it. Larger eyes are associated with openness and creativity. And they're more empathetic and are more emotion over logic. Now, he has more logic to his emotion, which I guess would indicate the part where he has not large and not small eyes either. Now, he does have prominent eyes since he does have the double lid to it. Person with eyes that protrude from the socket will be friendly and sensitive. They typically have a worrisome and pessimistic nature, but portray the nature of an extrovert. That is the case because he is very excitable, especially when they do from BTS, but at least he's in a comfortable environment during that time. Now, Jungkook's nose analysis, like I said, a lot of people don't really want to go into the further details. Now, he does have a bulbous nose, also known as a fleshy nose. If you have a fleshy nose, you are a fast thinker and clever, and are usually cautious, kind of an individual. Yeah, he is very cautious and does think before he does, but he's a very fast thinker and he's very quick-witted. And a lot of the group members would say he is one of the smarter ones in the group, even though he may not show it. And yes, Jungkook eyebrows shape. Yes, I went backwards, and I made sure to get several before he was in BTS to get an accurate reading on his eyebrows. And they are crescent moon shaped, which means they're round. They're not straight. They're not jagged. They're round arch shape. Now, he does have a triangle face, which is the indication for the chin outward. Now, it may not look like a direct triangle because it'd be kind of weird if somebody had a triangle-looking face. But you tend to be extroverted, assertive, and social, and enjoy being in charge. He can like being in charge, but to a certain extent, he's not very pushy about things. Crescent moon-shaped eyebrows, half moons. Basically, men with such eyebrows basically work in art. Yes, he is a strong artist. And of course, there's more to the eyebrows. Of course, like I said, I'll post these links in the description when these are posted, so you do have the ability to read these. Furthermore, Jungkook's feelings, so he's shy during, performances, and I'm sure if you've seen some of the videos when they first debuted, his eyes were like a deer in the headlights, especially when he was around huge crowds. The words didn't hurt me, the person who said them did. Yeah, those things that he has said before. Keep a lot to yourself because it's difficult to find people who understand. Yeah, that is true, especially when you become famous. Nobody really wants to understand your pain and your feelings. It's just the fact that you are famous and you are rich, and it gets them positive attention. So, I hate the fact that some people are judged for being real while others get loved for being fake. Yeah, they like the fake Jungkook, not the real Jungkook, as we've seen. Like I said, I'm sure you've seen a lot of these mentioned, whether that be memes or somebody has posted it before. See, he said this one is the most popular one. Jungkook of BTS is what people like to hear about, but Jungkook is insignificant. That's pretty self-explanatory, and the fact that a lot of people miss that it's being mentioned is quite depressing, and tells me their fans are not very self-aware of their selfish and bitchy manners of how they talk about each member. And of course, K-pop fans' opinions. You see a lot of posts, opinions about these. Think he's arrogant. They just think he's sexy. He's just a sex idol, not really a person with feelings and motives. And since he received hate for not wanting people to call him Oppa, because Oppa is actually very sexualized in Korea. He doesn't want to be called that, so let him live. He doesn't want to be called that, so just respect him. Now you got hate for it. Like I said, you can read multiples of these, and it just gets more annoying from here. So it's just constantly rumor after rumor. It's how sexy he is. People create all these weird theories about him. And people have these unrealistic expectations of him. Yeah, Jungkook went from joyful kid to hottest man alive. Well, he's just dancing. I mean, I don't get it. He's trying to have fun, but he does want to do the dance properly. It's not about being sexy. And besides, he was a young kid when he was doing that. I mean, what do you expect? Alrighty then. Okay then, so that will be the end of this video. I will get to the other members very, very soon. I wanted to get back on this track very quickly because this has taken a back burner to my health problems. I did want to get these out there for you guys to see, so at least my point comes across more, that I do analyze the members and I know what I'm talking about. But anyway, next member I think will be V, but so if you haven't subscribed yet, please do. Like the video, comment, don't comment anything very narcissistic or rude. If you don't agree with my opinions, don't watch it or anything. You don't have to be rude if you don't agree with me, but I think you do need to hear me out instead of being blind to what you say and what your other fellow fans are saying about these guys here. But until our next video, guys, peace.